In healthcare, it's oftentimes the hardest and the most stressful and most difficult thing that people go through. So to have someone that speaks their language and understand what they're saying can be really comforting and really helpful. So I got to UVU initially through a music scholarship. I hadn't ever planned on going to UVU, didn't think about it. I'd applied to a bunch of different universities in Utah. I hadn't ever considered it a serious option until I got scholarships. That just gave me a good initial kind of foot in the door, and then from there I was able to find my major and get different opportunities. I didn't know what I wanted to do when I started at UVU, so I took the music scholarship, and then I went to psychology, and then neuroscience, and then physical therapy, occupational therapy. And one day in my math class, the kid that sat behind me, I just got talking to him, and he said that he was doing public health with an emphasis in healthcare administration. So I asked him more about that, and he put me in touch with the advisor. And so I met the advisor, and then the rest is history. I got enrolled in the classes. I took the general classes that I needed to get in. One of the most impactful things in my life has been when I was in my junior year in high school, my mom got Guillain-Barré, which is an autoimmune disease. So she got the flu. The body turns from the flu to your own nervous system. And so she was paralyzed, and she was in a hospital for a couple months, and then I think it was a full year from when she was diagnosed to when she was kind of up and at 'em again. I remember visiting her in the hospital and visiting her to rehab. It's really impactful. That's why I love healthcare, is you take somebody at their worst and you help them get back to whatever the next equivalent of the best is. So if that's full recovery, awesome. If it's not, they're still better. So seeing my mom go from the mom that I'd always known, just the active, fun-loving, to in a hospital bed, and then slowly learn how to walk again, learn how to use her hands, and playing catch with her and rolling a ball to her, to now she's playing pickleball, and you'd never know that she wasn't able to walk a couple years ago. That was the most impactful experience for me, to be able to see my own mom, and there's nothing I could do. I was 16, 17. It was just such an out-of-body experience. I can't say enough about the doctors and the nurses that helped her, and the different physical therapists, the different neurologists, and all the people that helped her. That's been amazing for me, and I would say the main reason why I've ended up in healthcare, just to help people the same way they helped my mom. When I got into such a niche program that felt like it was made for us, I felt like I was part of something new, and it was a great place to experience that belonging, because it was a new program statewide. So I was like, well, I just happened to be at UVU when they made the program, and the stars aligned for it. So that's when I felt, when I transitioned from the public health major to the healthcare administration major, I was like, I've made it. I found what I've been looking for at UVU. I served a mission in Ecuador for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And when I came home, the only thing I knew I wanted to do was keep up my Spanish. Amid taking Spanish classes, that's when I found out about the healthcare major. And I heard a lot of good upsides to maybe minoring in Spanish, because healthcare, you can always use other languages in healthcare between interpreting. And as I got into the healthcare major, and I kept taking Spanish classes just because I liked it, then I started to think, well, maybe I could keep them both and just double major. I don't know if you could do that, so I looked into it. Turns out you can. Eventually, I was able to take business classes in Spanish and get an interpreting qualification, and so it just combined, and now I can interpret and do different medical Spanish things. So it was a good combination that initially I hadn't thought about. I have done some work with refugees in the past too, and you never realize how hard it is for someone when they're in a place and they don't know what anybody else is saying. To be able to be the one connection that they have is such a powerful and such a tender moment, that you're the only link that they have with everything else that's unknown. You're the one thing that they understand. So in healthcare, it's oftentimes the hardest and the most stressful and most difficult thing that people go through. So to have someone that speaks their language and understand what they're saying can be really comforting and really helpful. It's really empowering for me to be able to talk to other people in Spanish, or in English too, be able to connect. We all value connection, and we all want to be loved and served. So sometimes you get so focused on, I just need to pass this class, I just really want to get an A or really want to get a B, but you don't think, well, when I graduate, where do I want to go? Or how do I want to use this major? A quote that my grandpa would always tell my dad is, whatever you do, be marketable. So just have a vast amount of experience, as much experience as you can, so that if you're ever in a rut, you have something to fall back on, or you can get a job easily. So that, I think, is something that UVU has helped me do, is to make sure that don't just look toward graduation, but also look past. What are the different careers you could look into? My professors have helped out with that fantastically, being able to look past graduation and not just as the end goal, but as a step toward doing other things. I've appreciated that, because then now that I graduated, I have things set up rather than just trying to figure out what to do next. Overall, I'm grateful that I can take my education and use it to just help other people. I think that's why I've ended up in healthcare. I just like the compassionate service, the loving others, the things that the Bible talks about loving God and loving others, and also when you serve others, you serve God. And so I think being able to take the education and help others in a better way is something I look forward to for the rest of forever. Being able to say, I want to help people, but now I have the right tools and I have the right education to actually make a difference, rather than just, well, I'd love to help you out, but there's not much I can do here. It's, I have this degree and I have this job. Here's how I can help your life, even just a little bit. UVU is a place for growth. You come in and you leave better. You're able to learn and leave a different person, whether it's what you came in wanting to do or whether it's completely different.